Welcome to the Flashpacker Connect webinar. We're really excited to tell all the attendees a little bit about Patagonia, some planning tips and tricks, a little bit about getting there. So my name is Leanne, and I'm joined by Lorena.
Hi, everyone.
To give you a little bit of a background, Flashpacker Connect is an adventure travel company. We are focused on guided and self-guided hikes throughout the world. We also help arrange adventure itineraries that mix with biking and camping and different adventure things around the world. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of background. I'll let Lorena start first.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our first Patagonia webinar. Thanks, Leon, for the invitation. I'm really happy that we opened this space to know more in detail about the destination of Patagonia. I'm Lorena Maya. I'm one of the travel specialists for Flashpacker Connect. I've been working for Patagonia destination for more than 10 years. And most important, I'm Chilean. I'm based in Santiago de Chile. And I'm also the direct contact with our amazing local suppliers in the area.
Thank you, Lorena. And my name is Leanne. Again, I'm one of the founders of Flashpacker Connect. We have been in business for over 10 years, and we're Patagonian specialists. We work with many suppliers down in Patagonia, and really what sets us apart is we tailor our itineraries and our treks to what you're looking for. So we don't just bottleneck you into one specific tour. We are really looking for what your budget is, what you're looking for, and then tailor a trip to fit those needs. So to give you a little bit more about Patagonia, I will let Lorena jump into the different options that we have.
Yes, thank you, Leanne. We have planned hundreds of trips for Patagonia, and what we have learned with the most years is that the most challenge is not about fitness, it's about logistics. So here, the first decision that you need to face when you look to travel to Torres del Paine National Park is if you choose the W track or the Paine circuit. So as you can see, the purple line is the W track, and all the circuit is in green. So the W track is could be from 4 to 5 or 6 days cover, and the main highlights are covered like the French Valley, the Great Glacier, and the base of the towers. And the Paine circuit can be covered from 7 to 9 or 10 days, depending on the trip. But basically, this is the first option that the first decision that you must take when you are visiting Torres del Paine.
Definitely. And there's some really important points to note when choosing between that O trek and the W trek. And I'll kind of go back and forth with the map here, but that map gives us a really good visual. The O circuit, as you see, does go circumnavigates the mountains in Torres del Paine. So you really get into the backcountry. It's definitely geared towards experienced backpackers. There are fewer crowds. It is a more difficult trek, but it also requires some route finding. So there's trails the entire way of that O circuit, but you definitely want to have some experience if you're planning on going to the backcountry. The W trek, on the other hand, is really nice because it is just this front portion of the mountains, and it's very well traveled. It is our more popular option that we sell. with the O Trek versus the W Trek, about 90%, Lorena, I think you mentioned that earlier to me, about 90%
Yes.
of our travelers are choosing the W Trek. So you're still fitting in the 3 highlights of Torres del Paine, which are fantastic. And yet you can do it in fewer days, and you don't need quite the level of fitness that is necessary for that O Trek.
Exactly. Well, here you can see the technical details of the miles. And basically, we just want to give you the tip that for passengers that are traveling for the first time and they are used to hike, they usually choose the W track. So that's our recommendation, but all depends on you, what you're looking for. And for that, we will help you to find the best trip.
Guided versus self-guided. Something, the great thing about going to Torres del Paine, if you do book a tour with Flashpacker Connect, everything is arranged for you regardless of whether you're booking a guided or a self-guided hike. The main difference, however, is that guided experience, you have a guide more or less holding your hand, not literally, but walking you through the day each morning, how many kilometers or miles you're going to hike, what you can expect for that day. And you really get a lot of the nice group camaraderie. Guided experiences are fantastic because you do build some really nice relationships along the trail. However, self-guided, if Lorena, you want to take a moment to explain the self-guided hikes and why those are beneficial, I'll let you take that away.
So what I really like about the self-guided is that everything is included. So you don't need to worry about the logistics. So bus tickets, entrance fee, accommodation, meals. So you just worry about your hike and basically carry your backpack. So that's everything is arranged. People ask me, should I bring my sleeping bag? Should I bring my tent? No, everything will be set once you arrive to each campsite or each refugio. So basically, you just carry your own clothes in your backpack. That's a really, really good option for clients. Also, some people, when they have doubts about to do self-guided or guided, I always may recommend to go guided. Like if you feel more secure, if that's the travel style that you're looking for, I'm sure that you will have a real nice local contact with our guides, and it will be a great experience.
Definitely. There are definitely benefits for going with that guided hike. A little bit more on that self-guided. For those that love the flexibility of hiking at your own pace and your own speed and starting when you want, ending when you want, that self-guided hike does allow for that maximum flexibility, more for the independent hikers. However, the interesting thing is the majority of our hikers, our clients that are booking with us, are still booking that self-guided program. So they're coming to us for the logistics and arranging all of that. It can be very, very difficult to book your accommodation, your meals, finding that route and knowing what refugios to stay which night when you're doing a self-guided. And so using a travel company like Flashpacker Connect allows you to have everything arranged for you, pre-arranged. You get a briefing as well prior to your hike. And then you just go on the hike and you don't have to worry about anything except walking.
Yeah, we have this moment for the briefing to resolve all the last minute questions. If you want to check your packing, everything will be included. So that's really valuable for this kind of treks.
Definitely. Some common planning mistakes. So to touch a little bit more on why it can be helpful, even when booking a self-guided hike, to go with a travel company. There's a lot of logistics and planning involved in that Patagonian adventure. So some of the common mistakes and things you really want to think about if you're planning on going to Torres del Paine is the availability and how far in advance you're going to book. So we are recommending 6 months in advance to book that adventure. If you really have specific dates, we are already seeing a huge influx of bookings for over Thanksgiving, over Christmas, and even into spring break next year. And so getting that booking early will allow you to get the exact itinerary that you're looking for. I'll let Lorena talk a little bit about weather, since she is living proof of the Patagonian weather, and she can go a little bit more into that detail.
Well, in Patagonia, Chile or Argentina, we always say that you can like experience 4 seasons in one day. So many people ask us about what is the best time to visit. The season opens on October and finish on April, but that doesn't mean that the weather could change. So they have this window so that the sky is clear, and then we have rain, and it could be super windy. So basically you need to be open-minded and prepare for everything in Patagonia. That's why the next point is super important, to pack correctly and do not overpacking as well. That's for me, that's the main, even if you are planning, for example, in summer in Chile, that's January, for example, it could be raining. So it's the most important is the flexibility, and that you need to be prepared for all kind of weathers.
Yes, absolutely. And we will supply you with a full packing list to ensure that you're absolutely prepared. This is just a very small breakdown of different parts and core pieces to think about. We're not going to touch too much on the packing, but this is a good visual just to kind of see the breakdown of things that we will recommend while you're traveling to Patagonia. Getting to Patagonia, this is a very common question that we get asked. It can feel really complicated and very far away, as Patagonia is all the way in the southern tip of Chile. For our US travelers, the main hub is going to be Santiago. So flight from the US to Santiago is going to be your first stop. The nice thing about that is Santiago is a beautiful city. You can have a stopover for a night or two and go either into the mountains or into the wineries, have some wonderful food and really experience that culture. Other clients of ours will stay in the airport and transfer directly to a connection, which will bring them to Puerto Natales, which is the closest kind of the launch point for all of our Torres del Paine adventures.
Yes, Puerto Natales is located 2 hours away from the national park. So that's the starting point, the closest town to Torres del Paine.
Correct.
We have here, this is the main point. We are here to help you because there are some other connections that you can make, the Argentina or in Chile, but that's where we start and help you with coordinating the flights, the different connections.
Perfect. Maximizing your hike. Lorena, why don't you touch on the ice hike and the kayaking?
So for me, this is where the trip becomes unforgettable, especially when we hear and read our reviews and feedback from our clients. These are the optionals that we can offer you for the W Trek or the Paine Circuit when you book through us, because we focus in the gray area. So you can add the kayaking or the gray ice hike, and this is a great add-on. That could be day 4, for example, during the afternoon of the W Trek. While the kayaking lasts 2 hours, the gray ice hike usually is 4 hours, the total tour.
Yeah, they're wonderful experiences to add on. They are optional activities that don't require you to add additional days onto your hike. So if you feel like you have the stamina to do a kayaking adventure or the ice hike, you can just ask your sales representative, and they can help fit that into your itinerary. Some clients even choose to take a rest day at Gray. We work very, very closely with the owners of Gray Refugio. They're one of our really wonderful partners that we work with. And so we do always try to steer people into either Refugio Gray or or Camping Gray to maximize that beautiful scenery there. But that rest day in Gray can allow you also not only to rejuvenate your muscles and relax a little bit, but also fit in the kayaking and the ice experience, which is another popular choice to do both if you can't make that decision.
Yes, and also I should add that we can customize these trips. As Leanne just mentioned, some people prefer to add 2 days in Gray. Some people prefer to stay in a different area, for example, in Chileno instead of Central, one of the areas. So that's why we are here to help you to customize. If you don't feel prepared to do everything in 5 days, we can add some extra day. If you have less time, we will assure that you cover the main highlights for the W Trek or the Paine circuit.
Absolutely. And something that we don't have time to touch on today, but in the future, look for another webinar from us that will touch on extensions into Argentina and really wonderful areas, trekking in El Chalten and things to do in Calafate. There's many, many more things that we can help to add on to your adventure. Here's a question. What is the difference between camping and refugios? Let's start with that. Lorena, would you like to touch on the difference of the accommodations?
Yes. Well, for the W Trek and the Paine circuit, we have 2 kinds of accommodations. Are the basic ones. The first one will be the camping. So the camping, as I mentioned before, is the tent is set once you arrive to each campsite. The sleeping bag, the mat, everything is included. They have their own camping shared bathrooms. They have hot showers. Everything actually is really, really nice. Of course, we will send you some pictures when you define what would you like to do. Then the refugios, they cover share beds.
Dormitory style.
Dormitories. They can cater 6 to 8 people. Bunk beds, shared dormitories, shared bathrooms inside the refugio. Some of them and most of them has heating inside. So it depends on your travel style. People that wants privacy sometimes, and they are used to camp, prefer the camping. And if people prefer to have heating, for example, they prefer the refugio. All the meals are served in the refugio common areas, even if you choose camping or refugio.
Perfect. I have nothing to add on to that, Lorena. You touched on all the points. Perfect. Next, how do you get from the airport to the park? So I'll take that one. When you arrive to Puerto Natales, that's the closest point to Torres del Paine. Most of our we highly recommend spending the night in Puerto Natales. That will allow you to, if there's any delays with your flight or just any logistical problems that happen as you're getting all the way down to Torres del Paine, that gives you a little bit of a buffer. It also allows you to pick up any last minute supplies that you need, any snacks, if you need to get trekking poles or anything like that. Having that extra night really, really is nice. That also is the time when we can give you that briefing. So then you spend the night in Puerto Natales. There are many hotel options in Puerto Natales, from hostel and very budget up to 5-star absolute beautiful luxury and everything in the middle. And then the morning, depending on, again, the time that your tour leaves, we have Again, self-guided and guided departures, so there's a lot of options. But you would take a bus if you're on a self-guided from Porto Natales, the bus terminal, into Torres del Paine. If you're on a guided tour, typically those are more of a semi-private. You're in a van with the group, and the guide or the driver drives you into the park, and that's the start of your tour.
So the next question is from Carol. So does Flashbacker connect to an Antarctic trip that can be added on after to Torres del Paine visit? Of course. Actually, we have many clients traveling to Antarctica first with us and then doing the circuit or the W trek. So it can be added without any problem. We are really close to the Antarctic, and we can provide you all the details and the different options, because there are many options. Some of them starts in Chile, some of them starts in Ushuaia in Argentina. We can help you with the connections. So of course, we can add that as an add-on trip.
Perfect. Laura, it sounds like you hiked the Tour de Mont Blanc with us. Thank you. And thank you for joining our webinar. I hope you're getting some answers or some questions answered on Patagonia. Her question was, something that made it possible for me to hike from hut to hut was the luggage transfer option that we provided in Mont Blanc. Is that an option on the W? If not, it's a shorter hike, so hopefully I can handle it. Actually, we do have a porter option for Patagonia as well. You know, it's different. It's interesting because with our Tour de Mont Blanc, because the distances are much further, more people are choosing the luggage transfer option in the Alps as opposed to Patagonia. However, we do have the porter service, and it is really nice to have those transferred for you from place to place.
Yes, and also there are options like do the W trek as daily hikes as well. So if you're worried about backpacking and carry all your belongings, we have more options. It not only could be the porters, you could stay in one place and do daily hikes, still visiting the main highlights of the W trek. That's a really nice also option.
Absolutely. For that W trek, there are 3 kind of spur trails almost that guests will leave their luggage and then hike up and hike back down. So there's fewer point to points where you do have to carry all of your luggage with you. Let's see. I think we answered that for Paul. What is the maximum group size for guided tours? That's a great question. We have so many tours that we offer. So it really depends on the specific group tour. We don't just have a 5-day W guided trek in refugios. So really, our group sizes vary from 8 passengers if fully booked all the way up to 16. But again, depending on the tour that you're booking. And so for those guided departures, our reps do a great job at calling and answering, hearing what you're looking for and really finding out of a tour that would fit your needs and exactly what you're looking for.
So, Jean, also CONAF, the administration of the park, requests nowadays one guide per each 8 passengers. But as Lian just mentioned, that could be varied from 1 to 6 passengers. So after that number, sometimes we could add assistance to the group, and we manage that way the group.
Rightus, the question is, if you're doing the self-guided trip late April and doing the W trek, it appears that because of weather, you'll need a guide for the remaining trip. Is it possible to find a guide inside the W trek? That's a great question, and I almost touched on this earlier on what one of the benefits is of booking with a travel company and with us, as opposed to booking the self-guided tours on your own. A guide can be required at any point randomly throughout the W Trek, throughout the season. Just a couple days ago, there was very bad weather on the towers, and they shut the trail down for any independent hiker, and they required a guide. And so we had 8 passengers one of the days, and 10 passengers the next day. And so with that requirement, either the hikers could not go, or we could find a guide. And we did our absolute best to hunt down guides for all of these passengers, so that they were able to find or to see the towers. So yes, it is possible to find a guide while you're on the W Trek. It can be very, very difficult, though, last minute if any of those restrictions happen. So if you are booking independently, just be aware that trails on the W can get shut down at any point.
Yes, that's correct. We always suggest, if you feel more comfortable and given the weather conditions, like for late April, to add this guide in advance, so you be secure, you don't need to worry, because that's the important point. This is your vacation. We don't want you to worry about these little logistics. So we always will recommend you in that case to book it in advance. But once you are in Torres del Paine, that also happened to us, we will do our best to find you the guide. We cannot guarantee you, but we will do our best.
Absolutely. What is the average elevation gain per day on the hike?
So the maximum that you will reach for the W Trek is 900 meters. That's for the base of the towers. And for the Young Garden Pass, I believe is 1,200 meters as elevation gain. That's the maximum. It's not like Machu Picchu. You don't need to acclimatize when you visit Torres del Paine, but that's the numbers. Angie.
And how do you get to the Argentina part of Patagonia? That's one of our very popular extensions that we offer. Some clients will finish their W Trek, go back to Puerto Natales to have a rest, 1 night, 2 nights, depending on you and your needs. And then from there, we arrange transportation into Calafate, which is the closest town from Puerto Natales, and we arrange either semi-private van transfer or bus transfer, depending on your budget and what you're looking for. And then we take care of that border crossing as well. That's included in your bus ticket.
Yes, and this is a really important point, because there are many logistics between the connection Chile and Argentina, and clients will need to make a bus ticket and then a new bus ticket to Chalten. So we have some great programs in our website that you can combine with the W Trek. Most of our hikers do it actually as a 6-day trip that you can combine Calafate and Chalten in one way, or just go direct to Chalten in 4 days or even 2 days. There is an amazing camping over there as well. So we have all the options available, depends on your budget, as Leon mentioned.
Are the sleeping bags warm enough, or should we bring our own?
Lorena, I love this question.
Yeah.
because maybe Pamela is used to hike, and many people ask about this. And what I say, there are some sleeping bags, they are really light, and people prefer to bring it, and you can bring it if you want it. But the ones that we provide are amazing, are good enough for the Patagonian weather, are focused in the Patagonian weather, so you will not be cold, and that's warm enough.
And one of the interesting things that most people don't know even when they're booking and they are already out on their trip, is on many of the campsites, the tents are elevated off the ground. And so you're not actually sleeping on the ground, the cold ground. You're on a platform. You have a nice sleeping pad or sleeping mattress. You have those warm sleeping bags, and it is a really, really nice way to spend the nights, because you hear some of the winds in the evening. You get that fresh air. You can go outside easily to see the stars, and you have the privacy. So the camping is a really wonderful option. And I don't want people to be scared off by the word camping or tent.
Exactly. So for the W trek, how many hours hiking between the refugios? So it depends on the day, but the maximum per day could be 10 hours. But you need to be prepared to hike around 6 to 8 hours per day. That's what we recommend that you are used to hike. Some of the days are shorter. Some of the days are only 4 hours. And then you have 2 days that are more demanding. But basically, that's approximately the time.
And then I think we missed one. Do we need poles and ankle supported boots? Yes. Well, yes and no. Poles are definitely a personal preference. I always recommend them to clients because they provide extra stability. The trail, you can be on roots and rocks. There are some small river crossings that you'll need to go over. So definitely ankle supported boots are a must, and well-worn boots. You don't want to be purchasing brand new boots and then taking off on this adventure. So the trekking poles do provide that stability and safety, as well as the boots. And then let's see, if we choose the daily spur hikes, do we return to Porto Natales for sleeping every night? Why don't we go back to this map? And Lorena, do you want to kind of talk about the spur hikes and the W Trek itinerary?
Yes, so that's a great question, Lori. So there are many options, as we mentioned, but there are no many hotels inside Torres del Paine National Park. So that's the availability is limited when you are looking to be inside the Torres del Paine. So for daily hikes, we have plenty of options. There are some amazing accommodations inside Torres del Paine, and you can do daily hikes from there. So you don't need to go back to Puerto Natales. But if you are looking for a budget option, and you can go back every day, and that will be cheaper for you. The distance between Puerto Natales to Torres del Paine is usually 2 hours drive, so one way, which means that you will have 4 hours of driving if you are doing that way. But as I mentioned, there are options, really nice hotels inside Torres del Paine where you can do the daily hikes and just go back. And they are really centrally located. They have an amazing views of the park.
Yes. So if you're not looking to do a full through hike where you're hiking every day, carrying your belongings, starting from one side of the W and finishing to the next, you can have a more leisurely, just daily excursions and coming back to the same place each night. Let's see. Any other questions? Let's see.
Can you help me with pre and post hike accommodation? Of course, of course. Actually, we have some recommendation of hotels that we usually provide our clients that we book the services. We can help you with all the add-on services once you arrive to the airport, the transfer between the airport to the hotel. There are plenty of options. From hostels, as Liam mentioned, to 5-star hotels in Puerto Natales, and we can help you with that. Just let us know what you are looking for, your budget, and we will accommodate the best option for you.
Yes. If we're booked at refugios and the weather turns bad, so we can't hike, what do we do? I love that you asked this question as well. Again, with the weather situation that we had last week, We help all of our travelers as best that we can when weather impacts the itinerary. So whether that is booking you into an additional night where you are and trying to rearrange your itinerary, or transferring you to another part of the park, we are always, that is one of the benefits of booking with a company. We know the park well, we have wonderful suppliers and partners down there, and we are going to do everything we can to make your vacation and your hike go seamlessly. Obviously, we can't plan the weather. If that were to happen and we needed to book you in an additional night in a certain accommodation, that's not something that we cover for you. You would have to pay the additional cost of an extra night in a refugio or a potential transfer in the park. But at the same time, we do our best to minimize any extra expenses to the point of if there's any way we can modify your itinerary without cost, we do that as well.
Yes, and that's not something that usually happens. I must say that as well. It's because everything is range. So usually when it's really bad weather conditions, the trails are closing as the base of the towers, for example. But remember that you're still in the park, so you can enjoy around the refugio. Sometimes people miss that they are already in the park. So that's I always remind people that you can still enjoy your time. And if you need to move to another refugio and the trail is not available, it's very uncommon, just to let you know.
Correct.
It's just to go into the mountains when they close the trails. It could happen, but it's not
only
common.
2 days this entire season. We've had the Towers Trail closed, and only maybe 1 week, a week and a half in December impacted only the O Trek hikers. So the W Trek was totally fine. So it is very, very uncommon that the trail closes, because it's just it is expected that the weather is going to be rainy or snowy, and as long as you pack appropriately, you'll be able to hike through it.
So the next questions are the camping areas and refugios in the same locations? Can some of the group camp and some of stay in refugio? Carol, yes. Actually, this is what we do. For a big group that people wants to customize their trip and they want to stay in a different place, yes, some of them could stay in camping, some of them in refugio. As I mentioned, the meals are served in one place, so you will be staying together for dinner and breakfast. And the areas are really close to each other in each place, no more than 5 minutes walking. So you could stay as a group as separate.
What month do you suggest for the lowest crowds? Well, Torres del Paine tends to be busy during the peak or best weather months. So anytime, if you're going end of November through March, there will be crowds. However, if you get to early November and into April, where the weather, you definitely need to pack for snow and rain and wind as well. That's when the lowest amount of people are traveling. In addition to that, over the winter months, and there's some beautiful hiking that we arrange in the winter.
Let me give you a tip as well in this, because this is a great question. If you are traveling in low season or shoulder season, that is October, in some of the properties also on April, you get really good deals for a really good quality of service. So if you want to have the experience of a guided or daily hikes, stay in a nice hotel, the months of October and April could be really good months to travel. The weather conditions could change, as I mentioned. My personal month to travel is April, actually. And I know it's shoulder season or low season, but the autumn colors in Patagonia are amazing. There is less people around. You will see more animals, and the sunrise and the sunsets are amazing.
Can you go over some package pricing or estimates? So, yes, we absolutely can. I'll kind of give you an idea of ranges for the self-guided hikes. As we mentioned earlier, we have a huge array of tours that we offer, from self-guided to guided to just daily hikes to fully guided and luxury accommodation in the park. So it's hard to give an idea, and unless we're quoting out a specific package. But our self-guided camping option, that tour is $1,640. And that is, again, for everything arranged for you: your accommodation, your meals, your entrance tickets into the park, your transfers in and out, the itinerary, the map, the briefing, all of that is included in that price. And for 5 days. And then from there, we have refugio options, we have camping and refugio mix, and guided on up from that.
Exactly. So what is the average miles to cover per day for the guide W trek? What is the high and low temperature in December, Chong? So the average miles are from 6 to 11 miles per day. As we mentioned, to go into the French Valley and the base of the towers are the most demanding days, where are 11 miles approximately. It can be covered in 8 hours or 12, depending on your pace. And what is the high and low temperature in December? I could say it in not in Fahrenheit. I don't know, Lian, if you.
So in December, it's very unpredictable, even though that is the most stable weather, December and January, that you get. But it does drop below freezing in December overnight. Am I correct, Lorena?
Yes,
0
actually,
Celsius
well,
and
December
30
is summer for us, so it's a really good month to travel, and people usually get really surprised when we say like the minimum temperature and the maximum, because they think it's colder. Let me check the Fahrenheit here. So I can give you that answer in a few minutes.
Yep. While you're looking for that, Paul, what is the refugio like? Any privacy? So the refugios are shared accommodation. They are bunk beds in like a dormitory style accommodation. So 4 to 8 beds in each of the rooms. There are several rooms in each of the refugios, but it is a group atmosphere. In the refugios, there are also different kind of lounge areas. There's a bar, there's a seating area, a really nice, just comfortable area for campers and refugio people to use. And then there's a cafeteria area where everyone shares the meals. You don't have private seating. You kind of can enjoy meeting other people on the trail or that were on the trail that day. And each refugio is different, whether it's served to you or a cafeteria, like a buffet style food. How many hikers are usually on the trails in peak season? Oh gosh, I can't answer that. It's different every year, and it's really growing. But as far as how many hikers are on the trail each day, I'm not sure. That's a tough one. I wonder. I'm not even sure if Conaf knows the answer to that, but that's an interesting one.
That's actually a great question, because also depends. Just to let you know, some people are coming from Puerto Natales just to do the base of the towers, one of the main highlights of the W trek. So there is more people usually in the base of the towers trail than in the W trek. Most of the people, and what we recommend is to hike from east to west. but some of the clients prefer to hike from west to east. So they are crossing sometimes in narrow trails, and they need to wait. But usually, it's not like maybe another destination is you hike and they have different pace, and you will not see so many people because also the local operators work for the guided treks to try to start in a different times, so there's no many people in on the top in a certain time.
Can we already book for November? Yes, you can, and it's highly recommended. Especially for November, and especially if you're looking into Thanksgiving. That is one of our most popular times for hikers coming from the US. And so, yes, we highly recommend booking for November. And what we want to see the penguins while we are down there. How do we add this onto the W Trail? Would you like to answer that, Lorena?
Yes, I love that question. So you will need to fly into Punta Arenas instead of Puerto Natales. Punta Arenas is the main capital of the region of Magallanes. And in there, usually the tour starts very early in the morning, like at 6 a.m. And then you do the excursion for the penguins. And then in the afternoon, you can take a bus or a private transfer to Puerto Natales. That's a 3 hours transfer. And then all the logistics, you can do the briefing during the afternoon if that's included in your program. So basically you can add it, and I strongly recommend it. I am a wildlife lover, and you must take the opportunity to visit it.
Definitely. And another tour that guests are booking when they're interested in penguins is our Puma tour. That is one of Lorena's favorites as well. So I'll let her talk about the Puma tracking tour, the length of the tour, kind of the flow of the day, and how that would fit into an itinerary as well.
Yes, well, the Puma tour that we have, we have two options, but the most popular one is like a morning tour, because the Puma wake up very early in the morning, and that's where you have more probabilities to watch to see them and track the Puma. You can add it to the W track if you start one day earlier in Puerto Natales, or you could for example, start with your Puma trekking and then add an extra night in the first location like Central or Chileno. That's strongly recommended if you want to also add this wildlife add-on into your W trek. And our guides are amazing. We have some great feedbacks, and you will be super lucky to see it.
Yes, that's a new tour that we added this year, and it has just been incredible to see the photos that our guide has come back with, and how close they get to the car sometimes. And in Torres del Paine, it is where the most pumas are in the world in one location. So they're very, very populated down there. And while it's not guaranteed, you do have a good chance in Torres del Paine, specifically on a Puma tracking tour. You won't see them, very unlikely that you'll see them hiking. They tend to stay away from the trails and the hikers.
Yes, that's a really good point, Leanne, because they are not, usually they can see it also in the massif, the Paine Massif, but they are in a different area. So that's why we need to move to a different area, and that's why we probably will need to add one day to the W track.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for all of those great questions. Again, we're Flash Packer. Did we miss any?
Yes. Is there any privacy in the tent option? Is there any privacy?
So the tent, you're on your own, either on your own or with your travel companion. So fully private accommodation, but again, it's a tent, like a camping tent that you would be in with yourself or partner, but not a stranger.
Yes, exactly.
Again, we're Flashpacker Connect. We specialize in booking these Patagonian adventures and itineraries. So when you are ready, if you have any questions that pop into your head after this webinar, please reach out to us, whether it's just for some informational purposes or if you're ready to plan your trek down there, and we would be happy to really find the tour that fits your needs.
Yes, thank you to all to join our webinar. Thank you for the great questions that you had. We really hope that you book with us and visit Patagonia, because it's an amazing place to visit, very secure and easy to travel. We have great flight connections as well. So we hope to see you soon here.
Yes, we do. Bye. Thank you everyone for joining
Bye-bye.
us. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.